A bridge in Venice is raising some concerns, why an engineer says it's not stable. Plus, how one local school is preparing for an active shooter situation, and what Florida Power and Light is proposing to minimize power outages during future hurricane seasons. Your Suncoast News starts now.
You're watching ABC7 News at 11.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Jacqueline Matter. Topping our news tonight, new details on the bridge collapse that killed 6 people in South Florida back in March. Florida Department of Transportation in court today asking a judge to keep records sealed that might reveal what caused the bridge to collapse. According to the Miami Herald, FDOT was asking the judge to dismiss a lawsuit by the paper that mandates they release emails, meeting minutes, and other records related to the bridge's design and construction. Federal investigators have 2 weeks to decide if they want to defend themselves in court before the judge makes his ruling. Meanwhile, here at home, a bridge in Venice is raising some concerns. City officials say the bridge that crosses over Curry Creek on Capri Isles Boulevard has been declared structurally deficient by the Florida Department of Transportation. ABC7's Rick Adams joins us live from Venice tonight with more on what the problems are with that bridge. Rick, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Jacqueline, this is the bridge that we're talking about. They're looking to fix the problem very soon. On the surface, this bridge on Capri Isles Boulevard appears to be perfectly fine. Below the surface, though, is where there are some issues. FDOT says the bridge's substructure has cracks and issues of corrosion, among other problems. Molly Jansen is someone who lives near the bridge and crosses over it a few times a day.
It's alarming. I don't know if I should drive over it until they fix it. It'd be nice if they'd put a sign out or something, maybe.
Venice city officials saying despite the issues, it is perfectly safe to drive over the bridge. It's a bridge thousands of drivers use every day. These issues aren't going to stop Butch Lesniak from using the bridge. It's a bridge he too uses often.
It's of concern, not only for myself and my family, but everybody else who goes along here. There's a fair number of homes and condos on this street.
The city says they did receive $1 million from the state to move forward with fixing the bridge. They tell us they are currently working with a structural engineering firm to evaluate and look at their options.
There are no weight limits required at this time. There is no imminent danger by the bridge, but it is time for us to move forward with doing some repairs and or looking if it's time to reconstruct or rehabilitate the bridge.
Jansen and so many others who use this bridge are happy to see the city is working on a solution to the problem.
Hopefully they fix it soon. I don't want it to collapse.
And they will be talking all about this bridge at the City Council meeting on Tuesday, June 12th. Reporting live from Venice this evening, I'm Rick Adams. Jacqueline, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Rick. New at 11, the Sarasota County Commission voting unanimously tonight to move forward with a plan to end homelessness that they've been implementing for about a year now. The Gulf Coast Community Foundation presenting reports of the past year's results, and they say the early data looks promising, adding that the numbers are trending in the right direction. The Creating an Effective Homeless Crisis Response System of Sarasota has an 11-step program to stop chronic homelessness in the area, including rehousing efforts, assistance from case managers, and raising money to house homeless people in both the city and the county. Well, yesterday marked the 7th shooting in the last month in North Sarasota. It's an issue Sarasota's police chief acknowledges and says the spike in shootings since the beginning of the year is prompting law enforcement to get to the core of the issue. A community response team wants to start with education, focusing on the next generation of leaders, asking parents to talk to their kids. The next step is to bring back block captains, nearly a decade after residents first started patrolling the streets. Community activists say officers need to take a unique approach.
The way that you police one community may not necessarily be the way that you police another community, because every community has different dynamics.
The team is not opposed to the idea of assigning more law enforcement officers to patrol the Newtown area and encourage them to develop relationships with neighbors. This week, local law enforcement is getting together for an active shooter training at a local high school. The Manatee County Sheriff's Office and the City of Bradenton Police Department will be at Bayshore High School on Wednesday. According to the School District of Manatee County, there will be simulated gunshots and a police presence at the school from 8 o'clock in the morning until noon. This training will be for students, law enforcement, and school officials. And it is official. Superintendent Dr. Diana Green is leaving Manatee County Schools. Dr. Green has finalized her contract with Duval County Schools and today sat down with ABC7 to talk about the challenges that Manatee schools face in the future. She says she sees the biggest issue as growth. While the district gets ready to open 3 new schools, she says that may not be enough.
There's a possibility that we will still need additional schools, whether that is coming up in 5 years, they'll need another high school, as well as balancing out the current schools that we have, that we don't allow any facility to get to a point that they are below standard.
Dr. Green says her replacement needs to be a forward thinker to figure out how to move the district to the next level. She says that person also needs to be a listener and focus on financial obligations. Well, certainly a hot and humid day here on the Sun Coast. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan for a look at our first alert forecast and what we can expect tomorrow. Bob?
88 degrees, that's what it feels like right now with the humidity. Factor that in with the temperature of 81 degrees. And we set a record today, not a high temperature record, but a low temperature record in that it was the warmest start to a day like today than any other day. And 81 degrees right now, and it's not going to drop much further than that. And the pressure is rising to 9.99 inches and the relative humidity 88%. Temperatures across the state warm everywhere here with a west wind. The water temperature right around 83 degrees. It keeps temperatures pretty consistent and constant right there along the coastline. Now the water temperature at 82, so it's dropped 1 degree since 6 o'clock. 79 though in Mayaca City, 79 in Wauchula. They'll be into the upper 80s to near 90 degrees there at beaches tomorrow. High temperatures will be into the low to mid 80s because of that west wind that we've seen. Now some showers around still lingering down to our south, but nothing going on here. All is quiet and will stay that way for the most part. We'll see a few scattered showers developing in the Gulf of Mexico overnight, say after 2, 3 o'clock, and then try to work their way on shore. A lot of the rainfall today fell along the east coast as a result of that westerly flow pushing everything off toward the Atlantic today. Some heavy weather into Gainesville and also St. Augustine earlier. As far as the futurecast goes, I mentioned a few showers will start to develop after 3 o'clock and try to work their way on shore. A weak frontal boundary is coming down. That weak front is not going to cool us down much, though. We'll have the rest of the work week forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Jacqueline?
All right, Bob, thank you. We'll talk to you soon. The state's largest electric utility company, Florida Power and Light, wants to make sure that you don't end up in the dark this hurricane season. The company says it's learned lessons from Hurricane Irma. They say the majority of the outages were due to downed tree limbs and debris knocking down power lines. This season, the company is implementing an initiative called Right Tree, Right Place, geared toward educating FPL customers on where to plant trees and making sure they are trimmed away from power lines. Another way FPL is planning to lower the amount of outages is by launching a program to bury more power lines in Sarasota. The only issue with underground power lines would be if flooding were to happen, which would make it harder for FPL technicians to get to those lines. Well, parts of the Venice-Mayaca River Park are closed today for safety reasons. We have new video tonight of that park on Laurel Road, which is partially flooded because of the Mayaca River. The park itself is open to the public, but the back of the park has been barricaded. The kayak launch is still open for use. Sarasota County officials are keeping an eye on this situation. An update now into a sinkhole that opened nearly 2 years ago at a fertilizer manufacturing plant in Polk County. This is file video from when that sinkhole first opened. It caused over 200 million gallons of contaminated water to leak into Florida's main aquifer. The incident changed the way that the public is notified about pollution spills across the state. Today, Mosaic allowed the public to tour the site and see the multi-million-dollar repairs.
We've completed the corrective action and grouting plan, which are all the activities that were required to seal the sinkhole. That entailed drilling and grouting down through the confining unit and then ultimately filling the void.
Mosaic spent $84 million to fix the problem at the plant in Mulberry, which is northeast of Tampa. And Sarasota County is reminding homeowners about a crackdown on certain fertilizers. Nitrogen and phosphorus fertilizer have been banned for several months a year since 2007. The goal is to protect water quality from tainted stormwater runoff. The fertilizer restricted season runs from June 1st to September 30th. Now here are a few tips to make sure you're following the rules of the restriction this summer. Look for summer safe products with 00 is the first two numbers on the fertilizer label. Apply iron and magnesium to keep your lawns green. Keep your grass a little taller than usual. Buy plants adapted to Florida's hot and humid climate. And sweep or blow grass clippings back into the yard. A new state law that went into effect just 3 days ago requires assisted living facilities to install generators. This after the deaths of a dozen Hollywood Hills nursing home residents following Hurricane Irma. The Agency for Healthcare Administration says many facilities in the state did not meet the June 1st deadline, which aims at keeping the lights on, AC running, and medical machines working when the power does go out. Facilities that aren't in compliance could face fines of up to $1,000 a day. Serenity Gardens Administrator Roberta Jackson says the fines would have been crippling, so instead she installed an emergency generator earlier this year.
I had to get a big generator because I have 3 buildings, and it cost me $79,000 out of pocket. And it had to be done, and it had to be done right away.
For the facilities that were granted an extension for emergency generators, they have until January 1st of 2019 to meet the requirement. Straight ahead, what exactly are Bitcoins? We'll show you how to invest properly, and the new iPhone features that'll help stop phone addiction.
The skills you develop as a soldier in the Army National Guard can give you a head start on your career. Gain practical experience with technology and equipment that will give you a leg up in the civilian world. Learn critical leadership skills and to be part of a team. Serve your community and your country part-time while earning money for an education. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn about the paid training and career opportunities available to you in the Army National Guard.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
My California Closets experience has been wonderful. My mother's a huge inspiration. Before she passed away, she would say, you should do something special for yourself. First time I saw my closet, I immediately thought, this is the best thing I've ever done for myself. I call it my Tiffany style closet. I mean, I can shop in my own closet every day. I love that. My name is Cynthia, and this is my California Closets story.
I was always worried and scared. Mom was in pain. She wasn't going to get any better, and all the trips to the ER were painful for all of us. Then we called Tidewell Hospice, and everything changed. Now she has care in our home when she needs it, surrounded by family. We know we don't have much time left with Mom, but we decided to make the best out of that time. Tidewell Hospice, it's more than you think.
My credit score was not that great.
I didn't understand what went into my credit score. It was overwhelming.
Do you want to attain better credit health but don't know where to start? Credit Sesame can help by providing you a free credit score.
I love the app. It's so easy to use. It's like having your own financial coach. Credit Sesame broke my credit score down into things that I understood, and it made me think, I can do this.
And the awesome thing about Credit Sesame, it's free.
It's 100% free.
You don't need to go it alone. Get started today at creditsesame.com.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to Mesobook.com.
Bob, when I was taking my dog out for a walk this morning at about 8 a.m. It was hot out there. For being 8 o'clock in the morning, I was very surprised.
You know, it's summer, and about 4 or 5 weeks we get that during the summer months. When we have a west wind, things kind of change up a little bit. We get that east wind typically, which brings the storms back toward the coast, and we cool down with those afternoon and evening thunderstorms during the summer, but that didn't happen today. We are looking at the Casey Key webcam showing nice boating weather, and I tell you, it's good beach weather too, because the water temperature right now in the low 80s, and when you get the west wind moving in on the beaches, it keeps it in the low to mid 80s really. So a nice sunset tonight at Casey Key. Typically during the summer when the water temperature gets to 89 degrees, I'm talking August to September, that west wind doesn't really help cool things down much. South Jetty Venice, Susanna getting that nice shot as the sun was going down. And by the way, you can see these channel markers indicating, again, the route to go out and come in. Also keep in mind that a lot more manatees swimming around right now. So if you're going to be doing the boating, be careful out there, slow it down, keep an eye out for them. Dave Beach, you're getting that shot. Warm and humid air continues to rotate around this area of high pressure, which is typically situated off the coast of the Carolinas and also over Bermuda. It's known as the Bermuda High, a semi-permanent high-pressure ridge, which kind of gives us this easterly wind in the afternoon and evening, and then that sea breeze kind of butts up against it. We get the convection and convergence set up, and then they get blown back toward the coast and cools us down in the afternoon. Not seeing that pattern, not with that high down here. And what's happening is we got some late season fronts coming down, and it's going to kind of keep that suppressed to our south. So we'll keep with this west wind, warm and muggy conditions continuing over the next several days. Now, some dry air in the upper levels of the atmosphere. When we see this kind of situation happen and we get a couple of storms that punch through the dry air, you get some very windy storms developing and the potential for some rough weather as well as severe thunderstorms. We saw a couple of those today as those storms worked its way over toward the east. But you don't get a widespread rainfall event when you have that kind of dry air in place, so you get 1 or 2 lone storms that really pop up and pop out and really become the potential for severe weather. Nothing going on now, but I expect to see a few scattered showers developing here after 3 a.m. and work their way on shores. They shouldn't be that heavy, and they should bring some moderate rain at times. Now, as far as the wind goes, I mentioned it'll stay out of the west and northwest throughout the next several days. No changes there. Anywhere from 10 to 15 miles an hour, picking up a little bit in the afternoon, subsiding somewhat at night. And you can see right through 8 a.m. Wednesday, still out of the west, even in the afternoon on Wednesday. So that's not going to change, and that means our weather's not going to change much either over the upcoming days. A temperature forecast for the start things off, low 80s here. We'll warm up into the mid 80s. That's because the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport is just a mile or two away from the water there. And Fort Myers, that's the Southwest Regional Airport. They'll get up to near 90 because they're well east of the interstate. And then again, we'll cool down only into the mid to upper 70s to start things off on into Wednesday morning. Well, current conditions, it's 81, 88% on the humidity. The feels like temperature is about 88 degrees right now. The high today warmed to 88. And the low this morning, that was record-breaking, a warm overnight reading of 80 degrees. We'll see similar conditions again tomorrow. And we're starting the month of June off on a dry note. Not much rainfall here. And you can see from the futurecast indicating this front kind of sagging to the south of us. Most of the inland storms tomorrow will push off to the east coast. And then again, we'll see similar conditions on Wednesday morning, a few morning showers pushing inland in the late afternoon and evening, bringing some heavy weather to the east coast. Again, that'll be, I think, pretty similar to what we'll see again on Thursday. But then a better chance of rain comes Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You'll see that in the 7-day forecast. We'll start off pretty warm, and we'll warm up to close to average, right around 86 degrees. West winds for boaters tomorrow, not bad out there. A light chop on the bays and inland waters. 7-day forecast. Slight chance for showers on Tuesday. In the afternoon, that'll be well east of the interstate, pushing toward the Atlantic, and then a 40% chance for a few morning showers near the coast. And then again, a 30% chance on Thursday. We start as we get close to the weekend, when you know it. A better chance for showers and storms as we push into the weekend. And that's will be a little bit more widespread rainfall on Saturday and Sunday. Won't be a washout, but there'll be some pretty heavy storms around periodically throughout the day. Jacqueline?
All right, thank you, Bob. Well, the Supreme Court has ruled in favor of a Colorado baker who refused to bake a wedding cake for a same-sex couple. In a 7-2 ruling, the court found the Colorado Civil Rights Commission showed hostility toward baker Jack Phillips based on his religious beliefs. Phillips refused to bake a cake to celebrate the marriage of 2 men because he said he had a religious objection. The decision is tailored for the Colorado case and leaves unsettled the broader constitutional questions that case presented. In consumer news tonight, travel company Allegiant taps Micah Richins to lead Sunseeker Resorts. Richens will now lead all operational aspects of the company's resorts division. He most recently served as the chief commercial officer for MGM Resorts and brings more than 25 years of hospitality experience to the table. In 2017, the company announced plans for Sunseeker Resorts, including its inaugural development of a one-of-a-kind hotel and condo resort in Charlotte Harbor. The project is a big step in Allegiant's efforts to be an all-inclusive travel company. And American Airlines is making it easier to fly from Sarasota to Texas. The airline will add a nonstop service between Dallas-Fort Worth Airport and the Sarasota-Bradenton International Airport. Flights won't start until later this year on December 18th. American Air already has year-round daily nonstop service between Sarasota and Charlotte, North Carolina, as well as Washington, D.C. Well, Apple has unveiled new software features for all its devices today. The company says its next-generation mobile software, iOS 12, is chock full of speed-enhancing performance improvements. The company is also expected to debut tools to track and set limits for time spent on certain apps. That feature addresses concerns about the impact of excessive screen time for kids.
Today, we're announcing a comprehensive set of built-in features to help you limit distraction, focus, and understand how you're spending your time, and balance the many things that are important to you.
The operating systems are not available to the general public until this fall, but the company will probably announce an earlier public beta program for those eager users. Well, since the creation of Bitcoin in 2009, cryptocurrency has grown in popularity. It's virtual money, not something you keep in your wallet. But what is Bitcoin, and should you invest in digital money in general? Reed Binion has a closer look in today's Consumer Watch.
Things don't have to be tangible to have value.
You can't hold it in your hand, but this series of numbers and letters is digital money you can use to buy anything from a cup of coffee to a luxury car.
We look at our PayPal account, there's a number on the screen, the money's still there. Same thing with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency.
This payment method cuts out the bank. Instead, it's peer-to-peer, person-to-person, and transactions are done through digital exchanges. Many early investors who bought Bitcoins for a few dollars have made million-dollar profits.
Last year, you saw the price going up from below $1,000 to nearly $20,000. So, of course, you can use it as a way to make money on the increase in price.
But some analysts say crypto is too volatile and prices can rise and fall suddenly. But others like Brandon Mintz, CEO of the cryptocurrency ATM company Bitcoin Depot, disagree.
There is much more money to be made, and this is something that's going to stick around for the long term.
If you want to dive in, here's one tip. Don't invest more money than you're willing to lose.
People are taking, a loan out on their house and putting all of that into crypto, and then the price crashed.
Another thing to consider is security. Find a reliable source to buy crypto. For Consumer Watch, I'm Reed Binion.
State Representative Joe Gruters is apologizing for the beach balls used at a fundraiser kicking off his state Senate campaign. The balls included a picture of President Trump with the caption, "Hey Liberals," and two hands giving the middle finger. In a statement to ABC7, Gruters says, "If I had seen them prior or during the huge event, we would have had them removed. When elected to the Senate, I look forward to representing everyone, including both liberals and conservatives. I apologize to anyone who was offended." Sports is next, but first, here's what's coming up on Jimmy Kimmel.
Kimmel's new tonight with the great Jodie Foster.
I don't know, I kind of like it. Is that wrong?
Plus, Bachelorette Becca.
I fell in love.
And it's Generation Gap with Isaiah Thomas versus Isaiah Thomas.
I'm like the Cavs. I'm going to get swept.
Kimmel, new tonight on ABC.
I heard about the Datoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Datoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was and some additional cancers that were not found during the biopsy. I would recommend the Datoli Cancer Center. As a group of human beings, they are unbelievably great.
Here's today's job of the day. ABC7 is seeking a self-motivated account executive to join our winning sales team. Bachelor's in business, marketing, or advertising preferred. Visit mysuncoast.com/job of the day to apply.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself.
Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do it yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers. Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Northland Outdoors is about so much more than the biggest fish or the hottest hunting spots. All across the Northland, there are amazing people with incredible stories to tell. We're going to find those stories and share them with everyone. Join us each and every week as we explore the Northland and experience some of the most exciting outdoor adventures in the country right here in our own backyard. This is Northland Outdoors.
My name is Haley. I have Fragile X syndrome. I work with Chartwells at Einstein's and FAU. I like being up front and interacting with students. The students are very nice and very hungry. Having a job is a big ticket for independence.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Heavy rain and flooding is expected to impact parts of the Suncoast.
It will probably be forecasting hour by hour. We will see that plume of deep tropical moisture, and we continue to monitor that area of disturbed weather to the south.
Weekdays starting at 5 a.m.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
Now, sports.
The Web.com Tour announcing today a new tournament set to debut on the annual schedule in 2019. The Suncoast Classic, which will be held at Lakewood National Golf Club, will take place the week of February 11th through the 17th with a 5-year deal in place through 2023. 144 players will compete for a $550,000 purse. President Trump says he's canceling a visit to the White House by this year's Super Bowl champions. Trump says in a statement that some members of the Philadelphia Eagles, quote, disagree with their president because he insists that they proudly stand for the national anthem hand on heart. Trump says the team wanted to send a smaller delegation, but fans who planned to attend, quote, deserve better. He says he'll instead be hosting a different type of ceremony with the U.S. Marine Band. The NFL recently announced a new policy requiring players to stand for the anthem if they're on the field before a game. Trump had suggested players who kneel be fired. And Serena Williams has pulled out of her highly anticipated French Open match against Maria Sharapova because of a muscle injury. The tennis star's last-minute decision coming this morning after she played through 3 rounds in her Grand Slam comeback. Williams is set to have an MRI. The French Open was her 3rd tournament of the year, and the match was set to be a big one. The last time Sharapova beat Williams was 14 years ago. Sharapova now moves into the quarterfinals. And tonight is the first round of the MLB draft. Detroit Tigers making Auburn ace Casey Mize the #1 overall pick. Giants choosing Georgia Tech's Joey Bart. Florida's Jonathan India got picked up by the Cincinnati Reds. That's a look at sports. We'll have tonight's winning lotto numbers straight ahead.
Excuse me a minute. Hi, Dad. No, don't try to get up.
Hi, I'm Julie, a right-at-home caregiver. And if I'd been caring for Tom's dad, I would have noticed some dizziness that could lead to balance issues. That's because I'm trained to report any changes in behavior, no matter how small, so Tom could have peace of mind.
We'll be right there. We have to go.
Hey, Tom, you should try Right at Home. They're great for us.
The right care, right at home.
Hi, I'm Chef Bob. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday morning on ABC7, where we'll be serving up the most awesome dishes. Then stop by your neighborhood Publix, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to mesobook.com.
My credit score was not that great.
I didn't understand what went into my credit score.
It was overwhelming.
Do you want to attain better credit health but don't know where to start? Credit Sesame can help by providing you a free credit score.
I love the app. It's so easy to use. It's like having your own financial coach.
Credit Sesame broke my credit score down into things that I understood, and it made me think I can do this.
And the awesome thing about Credit Sesame, it's free.
It's 100% free.
You don't need to go it alone. Get started today at creditsesame.com.
Get all the local information you need before you leave home in the morning. Watch Good Morning Sunnews weekdays on ABC7 to get breaking news, plus first alert, weather and traffic focused on where you live. ABC7, we're here for you. The Florida Lottery winning numbers are sponsored by Frontier Fios.
A soldier deployed overseas surprised his son at his high school graduation in Massachusetts over the weekend. Tyler Solomon said it didn't even cross his mind that his father might be able to make it home to see him walk across the stage. But as Tyler received his diploma, he was reunited with his father, who emerged from the crowd after making the surprise return trip from a year-long deployment overseas. The entire Solomon family had no idea he would be there until he appeared out on the field. Good for them.
Can't miss that. Yeah, that's great, isn't it?
Coming from a family with a military background and not knowing if somebody's going to miss out on an event like that, it can be difficult. So I'm glad they were able to have that.
Beautiful moment there, and a beautiful day, really, although a bit humid. Tuesday, a slight chance for showers, and then 40% chance on Wednesday, 30 on Thursday. So it's kind of back and forth there, but it really picks up for the weekends.
All right. Thank you so much, Bob. And thank you all for joining us tonight. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. Have a good one.